This is David Wortman, Deputy Director for the Office of Community Assistance at the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. And this is the presentation that I gave at the NEUAC conference concerning the low-income discount rates and LIHEAP and how they're going to bring energy affordability to all Illinois residents. So low-income discount rates are here, and combined with existing energy assistance funding, we're going to make utilities affordable for all Illinois residents. Our job is to create a program to efficiently bring this reality to all residents. And when I say our job here, I'm referring to all the stakeholders in Illinois that work together to make our programs. So we have the Policy Advisory Council here. I'm including at least all of those members. So representatives from poverty advocates, from utilities, from local community action agencies, local agencies that are administering LIHEAP, the ICC, the Attorney General's Office, DCEO. So all of us working together to create a program. The low-income discount rates are going to fundamentally change the way that we need to deliver our programs. And the way this is working, the low-income discount rates are going to create much lower bills, but they're going to leave differences in the energy burdens of our clients. So towards a 0% income, so a household with a very low income, those are still going to have, even under the discount rates, are going to have a higher energy burden than others. And we're going to be able to design a program that uses our energy assistance funding to level out that higher energy burden on certain sectors of our population. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about later. So Illinois Energy Assistance Programs, we have 33 local agencies that administer our funding throughout the state. Our income eligibility is a hybrid of the federal poverty, 200% federal poverty level, and the state median income. For most of our clients, I would say 99% of our clients, our income eligibility is 200% federal poverty level. That's for households of 7 and below. It's 200% FPL. Our benefits that we give right now, we have 2 programs within our energy assistance portfolio. The largest, 90% of our households are on LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, which receives, these are client benefit numbers, but around $130 million a year of federal funding that goes into LIHEAP, and then our state fund, which is funded by a meter charge on ICC regulated utilities. It is about $40 million a year in client benefits there. So those 2 programs or those 2 funding sources fund LIHEAP, and then the state fund alone funds the percentage of income payment plan. It's a slightly, it's a different type of plan in that it aims for a particular 6% energy burden, so households spending 6% of their income on utilities, and we don't have enough to, it's a more generous program, so the households that are on that program get a little more money annually than a LIHEAP family, but we don't have enough to have all of our clients on there. So we have about 10% of our households on the PIP program funded with state funding. But now we're in a new world. It's a new day in Illinois because of the discount rates. So how they come about? A few years ago, the state legislature passed and the governor signed the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, CEJA. And inside of CEJA, it was required that utilities, large utilities, fund the low-income discount rate, make the low-income discount rates available to their low-income customers. And last year, November 16th, the ICC issued 4 orders to the natural gas utilities for them to start administering low-income discount rates October 1st of 2024. So we've been working on that right now, and ongoing, the ICC is working with Ameren and ComEd for the electric discount rates. So in October of 24, what we call program year 25, the low income discount rates will begin for the natural gas clients. And then in a year or two, we'll be also having low income discount rates for the electric clients. The rates are tiered according to the LIHEAP group that that household falls in. And I'll go to the next slide and show. So the natural gas low income discount rates, they're in tiers. So there are 5 tiers. The first 4 tiers are defined the same way that we administer our LIHEAP funding on 50% FPL bins or tiers. So tier 1 is the 0 to 50% federal poverty, so our lowest income category. And the discounts are huge discounts. Ameren and Nicor, natural gas, 75% discount, up to a people's discount of 83% of their bill. So a household that would have a $100 bill per month would be paying $17 under the discount rates. The thing to know about these discount rates, the 4 bottom, excuse me, the bottom 4 tiers, the eligibility for those is defined by the LIHEAP category. So for a household to get the discount rate, it requires that they go to a local agency and sign up for and are found eligible for a LIHEAP benefit. So LIHEAP is the gateway to the low income discount. And the way that's going to work, a client's going to come in, sit across the table from a local agency intake worker. They're going to be verified. Their income is going to be verified by that intake worker, and that's going to place them in a particular federal poverty level that will put them in a tier. We will communicate that tier for that household to the utility electronically through LIHEAP.net, our IT system that we administer LIHEAP with. And we'll do that for each of the bottom 4 tiers. Tier 4 is 150 to 200%. So 200% is the top household income that is eligible for LIHEAP. Tier 5, the highest tier, 200 to 300% federal poverty level, that is going to be a self-certification that will be between that customer and their utility. So the utilities will have some system set up to take phone calls and self-certify clients into, or their customers into this tier. So this next energy assistance to clients, these are client benefit dollars over the last few years. The blue are the amount of client benefits that were paid by federal funding, and the green is the client benefit dollars that were paid by state funding. And what you see here is that pre-COVID, we were right around the 180 million with around 130, 140 million, we'll say 140 million being funded by the feds, and then maybe 40 million funded by the state fund to get to the 180. During COVID, we spiked up and had significantly higher funding, up to $406 million in program year 22. And we've been coming off of that COVID highs ever since then. And we had projected for the program year 25 that starts October 1st of 24, we projected having $226 million available in client benefits, which is significantly less than our COVID high of 406 million. But now, since the since the low income discounts have been passed, the math changes on that. And analyzing our applicants, and we know how many households we serve, and we know what their poverty numbers are, what tier they're going to fall into. And looking at our actual data, we believe that when the natural gas lids get put in place October 1st of 24, the impact on our clients' budget, so it won't be funding that flows through the state, through the local agency. It'll be a discount on their bills, so directly between the utility and that household. It's going to be 160 million for the the lid for the natural gas suppliers. So next year, the impact on our clients, the customer's actual budget, will be 386 million, with this portion, the 226 million, going through the regular energy assistance as we always have, and 160 million being direct discounts on their bills. So getting up near the highest funding we ever had under COVID. Now, in the future years, and we don't know for sure when the electric discount rates will be in place. That's being worked on right now with the ICC and the utilities, but projecting out what the discounts would look like if they're in the same magnitude, if they're, this is assuming that they on average are the same by tier for the electric utilities, then we're going to be looking at something like nearly $600 million in assistance to our clients. And so 350 when you look at gas and electric. So the natural gas just on their side is 160, and the electric adds another 190 million to have 350 million. Now this becomes pretty amazing when you start looking at it. The funding that we were going to have available without the lids was something like 250 million, and now we're going to be having $600 million. So it's a lot of money being injected into our program. And now what I'd like to do is, what does that mean on an energy burden, looking at it from an energy burden perspective on our clients? What is this going to allow us to do? So here's some information on our clients before energy assistance, and this comes from data from the last few years. We serve something around 350,000 households a year, with an average utility bill, and this is probably this may be a year and a half old, so it's gone up a little bit, $2,300 for our 350,000 households. Our clients pay something like $800 million a year in electricity bill, gas and electric bills. So 800 million a year for our 350,000 households. The average income for those households, and this is the 0 to 200%. So the 0% has no income, and up to the higher income at the 250%, but the average is 15,700. So if you take the 350,000 households times that average income, you get that our households have an income of $5.5 billion a year. You take the 800 million in their bills and divide it by 5.5 billion, and that comes out to an average energy burden for a LIHEAP client of 14.5%. If you look at that, if you would graph 0% to 200% on the horizontal axis, and then have as the vertical axis the energy burden, what you would find is those down at 0 have a very high energy burden. Actually at 0 they have an infinite energy burden because they don't have any income, and the energy burden is the bills divided by their income. But it comes down rather quickly, and then around 50-60% it starts to level out. And then by the time you get up to 200% federal poverty, the energy burden is something like 7 or 8%. So when you put a lid on that, when you put a discount on that, it brings that line down, but it still leaves very high energy burdens for those at the very lowest income. And that's the opportunity that we have with the existing energy assistance programs to redesign our program to send funding so that we can equalize, we can shoot for having an equal energy burden for all of our clients. So we'll talk about that later in the presentation here. But now what I want to do is show the energy burdens for our household under different scenarios. So I just showed that they have 800 million out of pocket, and with no assistance, they're left with an energy burden of 14.5%. Now, we know that historically we've had something like 208 million. These are rough numbers that represent averages over the last 7 years, taking out the COVID, looking at what our normal funding would have been without COVID. You're looking at a little over $200 million. So with just the energy assistance funding, what we would be able to do is take people from 14.5% energy burden and get them to a 10.8% energy burden. So we'd be moving them roughly from a 15% energy burden to an 11%. So 4% off of 14% or 15%, roughly something like that. Now, when you look at the what we're going to be able to do in program year 25 with the natural gas low income discount adjustment, that's what I'm calling the A there, the adjustment. So between the low income discount added to the funding, the energy assistance funding that we have, we're able to get it down to 7.9% energy burden. So there you're making a real dent. You're taking it, from 15 to 8. And that's just with natural gas. Now, when we have it on both sides, that 350 million that I showed, this is where you can get the households to an average energy burden of 4.4%. So this is an amazing outcome to take them from 14.5% down to 4.4%. A couple things to note here. Once again, this yellow, the discount, that's applied directly to the bill, so that does not pass through the state and through the local agencies. This regular energy assistance funding does pass between, that's the funding that we have that runs through the state. So now, given that we have an average energy burden possibility of 4.4%, the question becomes, how do we design our program to get the clients there with as little variance as possible? So this is assuming that this is an agreed upon policy goal, that we take our energy assistance funding and try to levelize, try to take out any differences in energy burden that's left after the lid. And we have the ability to do that, but it will take changes to the design of our program. It'll take legislative changes and it'll take IT changes. We're not ready on an IT system to do what we need to do to have this be a possibility. So it's not simple to do, but it is possible if we come together as stakeholders and lay out a new program design. There are some problems to get there, and I'm going to go through 3 problems and then talk about the possible solutions to those problems. So the first is the way we run LIHEAP right now. If there were lid in place right now, we would leave differences in energy burdens between the lid clients and the non-lid clients running LIHEAP the way we run it now, and I'll explain that in a bit. The second problem is the large discounts can complicate the benefit matrix, because a household that has a lower than average bill can be left with a credit if we have the benefit matrix giving households that look alike all the same benefit. Meaning if you have 2 households that are single family with 2 people in a similar income, so you give them the same benefit, but one household may have significantly less usage than another household, you could be leaving that low usage household with a benefit. So I'm going to discuss that. And then finally, the lid is going to cause the benefit level that comes through the state to be lower for a lot of households, and that could affect the way we compensate local agencies. Because right now we compensate local agencies according to the amount of benefit that they issue. And so if the benefit that they're giving is lower per household, it's going to mean that they get paid less per application, and that could cause problems for their budgeting. So let's look at the energy burden for lid versus non-lid clients. First, 90% of our clients are on utilities that have lid. So 90% of our clients are in this green that I'll go over, they're lid clients. And then the remaining 10% are on municipal electric or natural gas systems, or on co-ops, or otherwise not on a lead utility. So let's look at the differences that come out of that. So this right here, the top couple lines is the average utility bill. I'm going to focus on the tier 1 because this is where the discrepancy is the largest. So the two, and these are numbers from, I believe, program year 23. These are actual data points. The tier 1 lid clients start off with a slightly higher utility bill. This is gas and electric for a year of 2,857, whereas the non-lid clients had 2,763. Their average annual income, this is at the 25%, so the middle of tier 1, this is 25% federal poverty. I think this is for a two-person household. So when you do the math of the utility bill divided by their income, the lid client has an energy burden of 58%. They're spending more than half of their income on utilities. And the non-lid client has an energy burden of 56%. So they start off pretty close to each other at the beginning of the year. And you see that down through tier 4. The one thing I want to point out here at tier 4, so this is at 175% federal poverty because it's in the middle of the tier between 150 and 200. It has an energy burden of 8% for both of them. So still higher than what is generally considered the goal of a 6%, which is a moderate energy burden according to national standards. They're above that, but you see that the 8% is still very close to 6% compared to down here in tier 1 with over 50% energy burden. So now let's look at taking those numbers and applying the discount. So this line right here, these are the blended discount rates according to the natural gas utilities discount rates and the number of clients that are for each utility. I took our actual numbers, and we get a blended rate of 79. So you remember Ameren and Nicor natural gas had discounts of 75, and then Peoples had 83. If you take all of that together, 79% is the average discount. So you take the lid clients $2,857 for their annual bill, gas and electric. You apply 79%, assuming that gas and electric have this 79 for this tier, and the bill becomes $603. So a significant reduction, over $2,200 reduction. So 603 for the lid clients after lid utility bills, and the non-lid client, of course, doesn't change because they're not on the discount. So you take that average income that we have and do the math, and the tier 1 average is 12% energy burden for a lid client, and the non-lid client remains the same at the 56%. So you see discrepancies start to show up even before we apply the LIHEAP. So just with the low income discount, we're leaving the lid clients much better off than the non-lid clients. Now, this top line is the utility bills after the lid for the different tiers. The numbers are shown here. These LIHEAP benefits are estimated benefits that I put together for when we have the lids on natural gas and electric. So this is a very preliminary, but the math works out and the numbers look pretty good. The bottom two tiers end up with 450 average LIHEAP benefit, and the top two tiers 650. So you take that $603 that they're responsible for prior to LIHEAP, and you apply the LIHEAP now, and they end up with $153. So they go from the initial $2,800 down to having an actual out-of-pocket of $153 a year. So a tremendous decrease in their expenses. Once again, though, the non-lid clients go from the 2,700, but now they do actually get, and this is the whole point of this, they get that 450, but that 450 is reduced versus historical amounts for the tier 1 because the low income discounts have made the lid clients cost so low that we have to lower the amount that we give the households in this tier. So that makes it so the non-lid clients only get the 450. So they didn't get the lid, and now their LIHEAP benefit is actually reduced because we had to lower it to not leave the lid with a zero, with a credit or with a lower bill. So you do all that math again, and we end up leaving the lid clients with a 3% energy burden, but the non-lid clients end up with a 47% energy burden in tier 1. So you see this is a huge discrepancy caused by having to apply the same LIHEAP benefit to lid and non-lid clients. And it continues on for the other tiers. It becomes less of a difference because of the amount of income increases, and that lessens the difference. But even in tier 2, tier 3, you still see significant differences between the energy burdens between the two. So that's a problem. Differences in energy burdens for lid and non-lid clients. A possible solution is to create a separate benefit matrix, or really, I would say, a separate way of issuing LIHEAP benefits, whether it ends up being a matrix or some other method. But what we could do, and I'll talk about it when I talk about the solution to the next problem, is there's a way that we can deliver the benefits for the 90% that are on the lid and do that in a manner, but have a separate manner, a separate way of issuing benefits for the 10% that aren't on the lid, and do a calculation for those that are on the non-lid utilities, have a different benefit system that gets them to an energy burden that's on average something similar to what the households that are on the lid utilities. So having a separate benefit system, a separate program design for the non-lid clients would be a way that you can solve that problem. So now the large lid complicate program design because the magnitude of the benefit is so great that it can cause problems with the leaving credits on households. So I'm going to show these are numbers that are straight from the previous few slides. We know that the average utility bills for tier 1 after the lid was $603 per year. We give the LIHEAP benefit of $150, and that leaves the lid client, the average lid client, with a $153 bill. But these are all averages, and households aren't the same. So this graph right here shows, this is a histogram that shows, and this is actual data. This is from program year 23, taking what the cost that those households experience for the year, natural gas and electric, and then assigning them according to their income, the discounts. This is the amount that they would have paid after the lid discounts. So the lowest households pay between $100 and $200, and the highest households pay $1,700. What this is saying is a $600 is the most common. So households between $600 and $700 are about 16% of the households. So you do that for each of these, and what you find is that the average is the $603 per household. So this green dashed line, that's the average. Now we're saying we're going to give a LIHEAP benefit of $150. So you put the LIHEAP benefit here. The amount that the household is paying is the difference between this 150 up to 600, or 450 up to 603. So that's the $153 that the household would be responsible for. They're out of pocket. But LIHEAP is paying the first $450. So if we're paying up to $450, what you see is that all of these clients down from 100 up to 450, they're going to be left with a credit because their bill was only $400 and we gave them $450 in LIHEAP benefits. So you have these clients here that are left with an annual credit, and that's 17% of this group, the clients that are in tier one. And that can be, I don't know the exact number, but 10,000 households. We could be leaving 10,000 households with a credit. And then at the end of that year, they start the next year and they've got $50 credit on their bill. And we start it again and we give them another benefit, and that could build up year after year. So we want a system where we are not leaving credits on households. So how do we do that? A possible solution, and this slide right here, this is kind of the thesis of my entire presentation here. And that is that, and this takes a lot of work. This is going to take a lot of coordination to get here, but we could design a LIHEAP program and build an IT system. And I should put in here and pass legislation to allow or to tell us to run a LIHEAP benefits system based on the household's previous year's actual energy cost and their current annual income, such that all households have the same energy burden for that program year. And what this is really saying is that we are creating a PIP, a program, a percentage of income payment plan. That's what PIP stands for, percentage of income payment plan for all LID clients. So right now we run PIP differently. We run PIP looking forward, saying that your budget bill over the next 12 months is this, and we're going to pay enough to keep you at 6% of your income going to utility, and we'll pay the rest. I don't like, there are issues that I have with that system. I'll just quickly say, when you say that we're going to keep you at 6% no matter what, if a household has a $12,000 income, so they make $1,000 a month, that means that we would be asking them to pay $60 a month for their utility bill, and we'll take care of the rest. And the rest doesn't matter how much they use. So the household gets no price signal to conserve energy. No matter what they use, they pay $60. That's the way that we currently run the PIP, by looking forward and saying your budget bill is this, and we're going to pay so much so that you're only left paying 6% of your income. What I'm suggesting here is that we build an IT system that we electronically communicate with the utilities, such that when an intake worker at a local agency is sitting across from someone and they give them their account number, that we immediately know what that household's electric bill or gas bill has been the previous year. And we take that amount and we compare that to their income that they're telling us at this point. And from that, we say, we have enough money this year to keep everyone at a 5% energy burden. So we look backwards and say, last year your utility bills were this, your income is this, and therefore your benefit is X. And that would be calculated in the system. And then we would tell the person, you can choose to get this as a lump sum, or you can choose to get this as a string of payments over the next 12 months. So this is my idea for the way I think it could work. This is what I would call my opening statement for a process that needs to take place among the stakeholders here in Illinois, all those that I listed earlier, utilities, local agencies, party advocates, ICC, all of us need to come up with a program design and then build our system to implement that program design. And this is my idea for how that might look. And I want to, over the next few months, have stakeholder meetings. I don't know whether it be an ad hoc policy advisory council meeting or some other system, some other meeting program to have us stakeholders determine what we think is a good way to move forward. Then once we have that in hand, we need to build an IT system and pass legislation. So it's a very complicated, there's a lot of moving parts. It's going to take a lot of cooperation and a lot of people working together. But this is one idea for the way that we could implement a program where we could annually say, we have this much funding next year in our energy assistance program. We believe this many people will come in, and we have enough money, assuming this many people come in, we have enough money to get us to 4.5% energy burden. Or maybe we only have enough next year to get us to 5.5% energy burden. We would turn that knob in our IT system, set it at that amount, and then as people come in, we would be issuing benefits according to this method. So the last issue that I listed was the compensation for local agencies. And what I want to show here, these first three are scenarios that I laid out earlier in the presentation. And then this last one here, this is not an assumption of something that's going to happen. This is me throwing out there what happens if. So we think that the low-income discounts are likely going to drive more people to local agencies to seek our assistance because the discounts are so great. We believe that the greater benefit is going to cause, an increase in demand for the services. So this is showing what would happen if we have a doubling. And I don't think we're going to have a doubling, but this shows the direction that things move if we do. So the first thing to notice is that we said that we could get to 4.4% energy burden. If more people come in, it's going to increase that energy burden for the people that remain. And the reason why is that the lid is dynamic funding. As more people come in, the lid automatically goes up because more people are getting the discount, and the discount's a guarantee for a household that qualifies. So that amount goes up with the number that come in. So that's dynamic funding. But the state and the federal funding is whatever the feds give us, and it's been fairly constant recently, but it's beyond our control, and it's what I call static. It's not the same every year, but it's relatively the same, and it's out of our control. The state funding is based on the number of meters in the state. There's a meter charge, and that doesn't change very quickly. So the energy assistance funding that flows through the state to the local agencies is a pretty static number. So as the number of people that come in increases, this is going to have to, the amount that we give each household is going to have to decrease because we only have so much money. More people come in, we have the same level of funding, the amount we can give to each household is going to go down. So that's why the energy burden goes up as more people come in. But the problem that I listed was the payment to the local agencies. So the local agencies are paid as a percentage of client benefits. Local agencies receive a percentage of the static funding, and an increase in clients will create an increase in cost for the local agencies. And under the current system, we wouldn't increase the payments to them because we just pay them a percentage of the benefits that they issue. And even though there are more people coming in, they're getting less per household, and the agency is actually issuing the same number. So what this is going to mean is that the program support that we pay, so right now we pay agencies an admin amount, and that amount is fixed. That amount is no more than 10% for the federal dollars, and it's a fixed percentage for the state as well. I believe it's 12, I'm not positive, but it's a set percentage for the state that's defined in statute and JCAR and our, so that admin is the same. We do have outside of the admin and the client dollars, we have a portion called program support that goes to the local agency. And right now we have that set as something like 8%. So that in total, the local agencies are getting something like 14% of the benefits that they issue. They get that amount paid to them for them to do the income verification and the handling of the client as they're working their way through the system. That funding may need to be adjusted as the number of clients increases. And so what that's going to mean, we report to our federal funder the benefits that we give for our federal dollars. And that is going to make our federal funding to our clients look different in the future. The most noticeable difference is that the 0 to 50% have historically been the clients that have received the most benefit from us. They get the highest LIHEAP benefit now, but with the discount rates making their actual bills so much lower, we're now going to be giving a smaller amount of funding to those households in tier 1. So our reporting to the federal government is going to, because of those changes, is going to be lower. But then additionally, if we give more of the money that has been going to clients, if that is going to go to the local agencies now because they're handling more clients in total, then it's going to make it look like the amount that we're giving to clients is less in our federal reporting. The reality in the households is this is going to be much better off for the households, but it is going to make our reporting look a little funny. But the solution for this problem, I've kind of said it on this that previous slide already, is that annually we set the percentage of the static energy assistance funding paid to the local agency. We set that at a level that's 14% roughly of the amount of benefits that they give out. If the lid causes the number of clients that come in to go up 20, 25%, we're going to need to increase the portion that is paid to the local agencies because their costs are going to go up, and the amount that they give out in total is going to remain the same. So we're going to have to give a greater percentage of the amount that they give out to the local agencies so that they can handle that increased cost that they're experiencing because of they're handling more clients. So that is the last of the problems. And now back to the big picture. Low income discount rates combined with existing energy assistance funding will make utilities affordable for all Illinoisans. And that is true. We are in a new day. The low income discount rates are going to be hugely impactful for our clients. They're going to be very beneficial. It's our job, and by our, once again, all the stakeholders here in Illinois, it's our job to create a program that efficiently brings this reality to the Illinois residents. And we'll do it. We're going to get there, but it's going to take a lot of meetings. It's going to take cooperation. It's going to take coordination. It's going to take the state building an IT system, working closely with the IT units and the communicating utilities, and designing the IT system to be able to handle that communication on whatever program design we end up with. And it's going to take deciding how to handle this, the lid and the non-lid clients. It's going to take us then communicating that out to the legislature to get legislation passed that mirrors the vision that we have for the program design that we build in the IT system. So there's a lot of work to be done. This is complicated, but it is within our grasp. It is within our ability to create a model program for the state that gets the utilities for all of our clients to an affordable level where we can get them to 4.5%, 5% energy burden, something that is unheard of here in the state of Illinois. We've never been anywhere close to this. The discount rates make this possible, and it's left for us to work together to design a program to get us there. And with that, that's the end of my presentation. Once again, here's my contact information. If you have any questions or have anything that you'd like to know about this, please give me a call or shoot me an email and let me know. And with that, I will stop my presentation and thank you for listening.